Right, today I'm going to be doing mac and cheese, macaroni and cheese, and yeah, we shall just go through that. Fairly kind of common recipe. I'm going to make 2 portions, and we can use that flat, and we'll just make one now, and then we'll reheat the next one tomorrow. So. Probably quite a lot actually. I should really weigh this out rather than just roughly judging it. I'll call that about right. So that's, if I leave that out, it reminds me to buy some more. You know my thoughts on cooking pasta. Just stick it on with whatever water happens to come out the hot tap. Okay, so the way I'm going to do the cheese sauce is I'm going to make a white sauce. Have I got butter? Ah, yeah, I do. So butter and flour and butter. Make a roux, and then add the milk. What you could do as well to simplify it is you can just simply add some double cream, and I'll actually put a pinch of salt into this, which I don't normally do, but I'll do it in this case. You can, what was I saying there? Yeah, you can just actually use cream. You can just put cream in a pot, just fill it, put a bit of cream, and then just melt just drop the grated cheese straight into it. And that works pretty well as well. I don't have any cream, so I'm going to make up a white sauce. This is just it's mature. No, I've thrown it away. It's just mature cheddar. I think it's Cathedral City mature cheddar, so decent quality, and that's all I'm going to use. My macaroni and cheese is it's pretty good. I mean, it's good. It's better than anything I've had in any restaurants or anything. And the thing is that you tend to have macaroni and cheese in cheaper kind of places. The last one I had was in a I didn't have any choice at the time. It was a Morrison's supermarket cafe in Glasgow. And it wasn't very good, you know. It was quite dry. That's what you tend to find whenever you buy it in a restaurant, in a cafe or whatever. It always tends to be quite dry. I'm just trying not to grate it onto the board, but I'm just going to do it. It's just awkward doing it over the. See what I can do and grate it into the lid. Just trying to avoid dirtying my chopping board if I don't have to. Let's try this. Yeah, so whenever you buy it in a cafe or whatever, it does tend to be a bit rubbish, a bit dry, a bit reheated. So this is definitely better than any of that. But I don't know, it's just lacking something. I've tried different cheeses. I've tried cream cheese, mascarpone, parmesan and things on top, but I'm not sure. Just nothing seems to be amazing, you know what I mean? Good. It's very, very good, but I don't know, I think it's just lacking something. I will figure that out. But for now we're just going to go just cheddar cheese. It was on I think it was one of the questions on QI, which was, why does grated cheese taste better than sliced cheese? And of course people saying, well, of course it doesn't, it's just the same stuff. But I think the answer, if I remember, it was a while ago, if I remember rightly, the answer was that it does taste better. and the reason for it was that the grated cheese, when you eat it, it covers more of your tongue, and so on your mouth, and so it hits more of your taste buds, and so that's why it just touches more taste buds. So grated cheese does actually taste sort of stronger, more taste more so than sliced cheese. A wee bit of trivia there for you. This is just normal salted butter. Yeah, I don't really know any measurements here. I just kind of roughly want it. Yeah, about that. I'm doing 2 portions. It doesn't need to be too much. Yeah, let's just do that. If you are traditional and stuff, you could use a wooden spoon, but it's you need to put some effort into it and make sure it doesn't go lumpy. But a whisk is just as good. A whisk will definitely not cause any lumps if you kind of do it right. This is just a wee bit of, I'm just finishing off this wee bit of pasta flour, but yeah, wrong way. Let me get these angles right. A wee bit of pasta flour, but I don't know if I'll have enough in here, but just plain flour is fine. I'm just using this up because it's in the bottom of this bag. It's actually quite a lot. So you just melt the butter. Now I'm going to just put I'm going to put cold milk into this, and if you read anything it will tell you don't put cold milk into a roux, but it's fine. So you just add some flour until it comes together. It's starting to kind of sizzle and bubble a wee bit. I kind of quite like to get it. I'll throw the flour all out. Just by coincidence, that just happens to be exactly the right amount. So a couple of spoonfuls of flour. And once it kind of comes together, it's supposed to be like a sandy texture. Once it kind of clumps together like that, let's say that that's about done. And not in any hurry, you just want to, I've got that in a medium heat now. Don't go too high. You don't want any colour in it, you don't want to brown it or anything. It goes a funny nutty kind of taste. We're not interested in that. But you've got to cook the flour to take the rawness out of the flour. So I do some, just had a thought about mustard. Now this mustard, I don't really eat mustard very often. I'm going to open this off camera because it's going to be, no, it's absolutely fine. It's been in the fridge forever. December 2018 that expired. This is April 2019, but it should be fine. So I'm going to put the cold milk straight in, which you're not supposed to do, but if you just put a tiny bit each time, so just a wee tiny touch of milk each time. I'm just lifting it off the heat as well, it's a wee bit hot, but as long as you mix through that tiny bit of milk each time, just keep doing that, and it's cooling the pan down. And don't kind of, you know, just keep whisking, don't stop. Just tiny bits of milk each time, and make sure it kind of, see at the moment it looks kind of lumpy and that, but just don't stop, just keep going with that. Make sure that each bit of milk that you put in is fully mixed right through. And add the next bit. So just kind of keep whisking every time until it's smooth. So while I was looking for some kind of different way of doing this, or different combinations of cheeses, I've tried Gruyere and Stilton and stuff. A friend of mine says, I try the Hawksmoor cookbook method or recipe, and it was just weird. It wasn't good at all. It had onions, and garlic and stuff in it. I'm going to turn the pasta down to 4. It was up to 6. I think it had onions and garlic and stuff in it. It was just weird. It just had this not very pleasant flavour at all, and it had Stilton and things in it. I'm wondering if just this with Stilton might be good. Stilton and cheddar, maybe that would work. We'll try that next time. But for now, I'm just going to use. You can see there's no lumps at all in there. But for now, I'm just going to use cheese. So I'm just going to, once it gets quite liquidy and it comes off the heat a bit, once it sort of cools a wee bit. You can put in more milk, and you don't have to put tiny bits in. Just stop all the steam building up. And basically, once this boils, so now you're kind of just judging how much sauce you want for two portions, which I reckon that would be about right, I think. And then once this boils, it will tell you the consistency. That'll be the thickness of it, and you kind of want to go a wee bit thinner than you think you want at this point, because when you put the cheese in it, it will thicken right up. So that's your basic white sauce there. So we can season it. You should use white pepper, but I don't have any, so I'm just going to use a good pinch of black pepper, pinch of salt, good pinch of salt. Going to grate a bit of nutmeg into that. And come on to my onto my last nutmeg to get some more. Just a fine microplane grater. It's really good for nutmeg. So put the cheese into this. Once the pasta's cooked, mix it with the pasta, put a bit more grated cheese on top and a bit of breadcrumbs, bung it under the grill. Don't get me wrong, it's very good, but it's nice. It's just lacking something. So again, I'll just leave that out, and it tells me to get some more. So good, plenty of nutmeg, get some good flavour into this. So what I like to do is kind of boil that and then just check the thickness of it. But there's nothing much you can really do. You don't want to add in any, you don't want to add in any extra flour at this stage, because it will just go lumpy. So you just rely on the cheese as what's going to thicken it from now on. It's kind of like a one-shot deal with the quantity of flour and butter, but it's very forgiving. Just put a wee bit of mustard in it. Mustard does help. Mustard does enhance the flavour of the cheese. So we shall do a wee bit of this very outdated mustard. I'm not a big fan of mustard. This is, I mean, this expired, 4 months ago. Just put a small teaspoonful in. It feels like a wee bit much. And see, this is the thing, because I keep my jars in the fridge, they last forever. Almost. And just slowly bring that up to the boil. Get that pasta restart. Just unsticks it from the bottom. Starting to thicken a bit now. Once it hits boiling point, then that's it. You'll know the thickness of it at that point. It won't thicken anymore unless you kind of reduce it. But if you don't want to reduce that because it will just split. So you just bring it to the boil and that's it. And just stopping. You kind of keep whisking. You just don't want it to stick to the bottom. For breadcrumbs, couldn't be any simpler. Going to get the old Magimix out. Oh, stuck to my flipping worktop. It's that flipping Danish oil. I definitely need to get new Danish oil and redo these worktops. Breadcrumbs couldn't be any simpler. I'm just going to literally take one slice of bread, just drop it in to the food processor. You can break it up by hand, but it kind of clumps a wee bit. The food processor is the best. Just keep coming back to that. Sticking in nicely now. I'm just going to give this a quick pulse. What I'm going to do is because I'm going to do 2 portions, so I'm going to take half of that, so it's just one slice of bread. I'm going to just leave that there. I'm going to rub some olive oil into that. So that's boiling now, that sauce is now boiling. I can feel it's not stuck in the bottom, so I am going to turn that off. I'm going to take it off the heat and I'm going to dump my cheese in it. You don't want to boil the cheese in it, because that will separate out as well. And I'm going to put a fair bit of cheese onto the top of this as well, so you kind of don't want to go too much cheese. So it's obviously it's off the heat now, so it's just using the residual heat in it to just gently melt that cheese. I think if you boiled it now, again, it would split, and what I think that is the oil in this. The oil separates out from the solid parts of the cheese, and you get kind of oily lumps, and it goes kind of oily and lumpy and not pleasant at all. So it doesn't look good. So we don't want that. Just going to give that. Rather than my finger, I'm going to give it a good taste with the spoon. Mustard's coming through, a couple of the slices through it. But we touch more salt in it and just see if that helps just see if that helps the cheese a wee bit. Whatever it takes, to bring the cheesiness out. But you could be putting other cheeses in here. This is just cheddar. But I'm going to turn my grill on now. In the middle. So I've got the grill up high. Yeah, you could be putting basically any cheese you want, any soft cheese you want. I think the idea is basically you're putting your cheddar cheese, your melting cheeses, your cream cheeses and things in at this point, and then you put hard cheeses on top, like your parmesan and stuff like that. But I'm not a huge fan of Parmesan. It's really nice. It's really nice, but it's just not punching me in the face. That's the thing. It's just not. It's really nice. It's better than anything I've had in a restaurant or anything. It's going to be a really nice consistency because it's going to be nice and liquidy and soft, and then a nice crunchy top. But it's just lacking something. So these are the breadcrumbs I'm going to put on top to help along with the with crisping them up. I'm just going to put a wee bit of olive oil on them. I can just use that. Just olive oil and breadcrumbs, and that will help them toast and crispen up really nicely. Otherwise they tend to just go a bit, they just dry out and they go a wee bit black and not very interesting. Put the olive oil on them and you think fried bread, which is obviously, you know, one of the best things you can have. I just happen to have brown bread. White bread would have worked fine, and that's just, you know, bog standard bread, nothing special. So I think we will call that done. And I actually want my colander this time. So that pasta, I think, is going to be done. I'm not going to bother checking it because I can see it looks huge. Basically, I'm going to take about half of it. Just going to put a wee bit of cold water onto this, and it's just going to stop it cooking, stop it overcooking too much. Just like that and that. So now it's just assembling. I poured quite a lot of sauce actually. Pour about half of that cheese sauce on. It's good, nice and juicy and liquidy. It's not too dry like you get in. I mean, this is just better than anything that you get in cafes and stuff, because I mean basically anything you get in a cafe is going to have been cooked ahead of time and then reheated to order, so you know. Even some places, if you go to some nice, you know, like these posh kind of burger restaurants and things, they tend to sell these side portions of mac and cheese, and same again, you know, they're just not amazing, you know, they're just not great. So that's just pepper. So we'll sprinkle these over. Actually, it's always a thing. Do you do the breadcrumbs or do you do the cheese? Oh, let's do half and half. I think you want the breadcrumbs on top so they crisp up. Actually, I should put the cheese. Should have put the breadcrumbs on first. Sorry, I should have put the cheese on first because you want that to melt down, and then the breadcrumbs on top. I did that wrong, but I managed to kind of rescue it a wee bit. It'll be all right. Just taking that wee extra second there to put the olive oil on the breadcrumbs. I think it's going to make a good difference to the texture. Now I'm just going to put this under the grill, but you could bake it as well, obviously. While that's happening, we'll just have a clear up. This is the thing, you know, while we're waiting on the while we're waiting on that under the grill, that's the time to have a clear up. I was looking at a couple of recipes yesterday on the internet, and there was somebody was cooking it with bacon and crackers on top, some kind of to make it crunchy, and somebody else was using onions and all kinds of stuff. And when I looked through the comments under these videos, what was consistent was people were saying the complicated ones with all these weird ingredients through them, sugar and stuff like that. The consistent thing I saw in the comments where people were saying, look, it's macaroni and cheese, it's cheese and pasta. It shouldn't have all these complicated things in it, it should just be basic. So that's why I thought I'll just show you this recipe just now. And I think that the way to make it better, to enhance it, to improve, because you're always looking for ways to improve things. I think that the way to improve this one is the combination of the different kinds of cheeses that you put in, rather than it just being cheddar and then cheddar on top, 100% cheddar. I think that you might want to put some other cheeses through it. Just haven't found a good combination yet. So this starting to look good, but we'll work on that. But I think that this kind of method is pretty good, because what you end up with is a nice soft light cheese sauce. It's not dried out, nice texture, nice consistency. And then with the breadcrumbs and the cheese on top, you should put the cheese first and then the breadcrumbs fully on top so they toast nicely. Not cheese first. Oh, sorry, I keep getting that wrong. Not breadcrumbs first, you want the cheese first, then the breadcrumbs. If you do it that way, then you'll get a nice crispy coating on top, plus you get that nice bit of melted cheese on top as well. So more food. It's looking really good. Just give it one more minute. As soon as once I finish this, it's going to be perfect. So as I always try and do, I'm going to turn my grill off now. So what I try and do with all my videos consistently is cook up a plate of food and have a clean kitchen at the end. This dishcloth is wet and you shouldn't really touch lift anything wet out. Okay, I'll bump it a wee bit. So that's you there. That's your macaroni and cheese. Just separating a wee bit around the edge, but that's okay. Still looks really good. I think I went that last minute probably wasn't necessary. I've charred it a wee bit, but it's still really good. Just stick a fork in it so you can see the texture of it. You still have that creamy liquidy sauce. You can see the movement of the liquid sauce, so it's really nice and soft. It's going to be nice and light. So you know, and freshly cooked like that, you know, it's really good. The texture and everything is really good. So yeah, so that's you macaroni and cheese with some melted cheese and some nice olive oil crispy breadcrumbs on top, and that's just 100% just cheddar cheese. Obviously put in any combinations of cheeses that you fancy, maybe parmesan on top, something like that. I'll talk to you next time.